I think I'm frozen to go live, which is amazing. Well, I think you can still hear me, but welcome to episode 3 of our Reframe series. And today we are looking at anchors and how we can use anchors as a way to enhance our acting and our auditioning and set work.
Yes, and basically any area of your life, because we all are using anchors all the time and we don't even realize. So it's kind of a cool conversation that we're going to have today. Yeah, so I'm just going to give you a short definition of anchors and what is anchoring, because it can feel like a little bit of a foreign concept, and then we're going to go even deeper into how we can use them. So as we know, the dictionary definition of an anchor is a heavy object that is used to moor a boat to the seabed so that it's not flailing around and it's securing something in place, or the boat or the vessel, whatever you want to call it. But in hypnosis, we can use anchors to achieve a desired emotion or mental state to elicit a positive response. So it's a very intentional thing that we can do while we're in theta, while we're nice and relaxed, and install something to secure us to a baseline. So it's really cool. And so on the other end of what an anchor is that we have them all. Every single person has them all the time, but a very, very common and powerful anchor is it's the actual opposite, is a phobia. So having an emotional response from something like a spider, for instance, is also a form of an anchor. So you can see how powerful an emotion is while your subconscious mind is easily triggered. So you can use it for your benefit. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so how I think of anchors, and you can tell me if this is the correct way to think of it, but kind of like Pavlov's dog. And so every time that Pavlov rang the bell and the dog would salivate because it was kind of trained to recognize when the bell was ringing that the food was coming. And so it actually instilled now a response of the mouth watering because it was connected with the bell ringing to receiving food, and then the mouth would be watering. So I kind of think of anchors as that. So would you think that that would be an okay way to kind of understand the concept of anchoring?
Absolutely. Yeah, that is a perfect way. So over time, we start to create these anchors, especially throughout the process of acting, for instance, around auditioning. And I feel like that's where we can really dive in and look at them today, and how we might be unintentionally creating something like that Pavlov's experience of fear or dread, or whatever it is that you're going through in your auditions, percolating and being triggered by something that you unconsciously don't even realize is happening. So, yeah, go ahead.
Well, one thing that in relation to acting and working on set and auditions is sometimes maybe having a negative experience. So I've had several negative experiences that I didn't realize I'd imprinted to and have now a new response to it. So I created an anchor unintentionally because of the extremeness of this particular situation. And then now every time that this comes in and this happens, then I have this response. And so I do feel that like maybe we need to deprogram maybe some unconscious anchors that we may have placed on ourselves within the area of acting and auditioning and working on set, because when something really significant happens and you get imprinted, like it may not be for your highest and best good, for your future work. And so I definitely think it's really a really great opportunity to take a look at anchors and how to maybe use them for your benefit as opposed to have them be using you for your detriment to a certain extent.
Absolutely. And those anchors, even the negative ones or the phobias, are installed for a reason in order to keep you safe. And this is why hypnosis or working with altered brainwave states is so, so powerful, because you have the power to change that and really infuse a new experience that is more supportive going forward, that will actually keep you safe and help you level up in your career. It's pretty cool.
Very cool. So our next little segment is like a little bit of a close-up. So do you maybe have some examples of where you have used anchors, and for positive and or negative, or maybe just a little bit of your own, what's happened with you?
Totally. I mean, there's so many that I can think of that I was unintentionally doing in the early stages of my acting career, and obviously was, trying to keep my little inner creative, my inner artist safe, of course, but it started to get in the way of my performance. So, I don't. What's a negative one? I would just, I think this is probably a very relatable one, where every time that you get an email, so that incessant checking of the email that I'm pretty sure we all can relate to. And that's a really good one. We should do a one on boundary setting and not incessantly checking email. But every time, I remember back in the day, I would get an email from an agent and I would see their name on in my inbox, my heart would just start to race, like, oh no, I've done something wrong, or it's I'm a casting director has given some feedback or something like that, when that was never ever the case. But for some reason, I had created this negative association in my brain that every time I saw my agent's email or her name come up in my email, I would, feel like I had done something wrong. So, I mean, there's countless things that we do all the time. But yeah, in training in hypnosis, I started to realize that we can totally start to program ourselves for the opposite. So I was really curious in my training, and I had booked a role on a pretty big show, and I was really, really excited to see if I could install these positive anchors so that I could support myself just by relaxing. And so I thought about all of the different things that you see on a set, and having that experience, you kind of know what's going to happen when you get to a set, and you go and you check in and you get your sides, and you go into your trailer and you sign in, or in some form of order like that. And so I had worked really hard on my own to try and install this anchor in my brain that once I saw my sides, it was a cue for me to relax and just come into the present. So this was a huge mistake, because when I arrived on set that day, I was looking around and I had checked in, and I was looking around for sides, and I didn't see them anywhere. And I went into my trailer, they weren't there. And so I went to the AD trailer and I asked them, and I was like, is it possible to get a set of sides? And he said, no, actually on this set, we're eco-friendly and we don't print sides. And so I know it sounds so simple, but that derailed. So that landed up sending me down a path of, it wasn't horrible, but I guess everybody just uses their phones. And so I was like, oh no, what did I do? And it landed up working out, because I wrote them out. But that's why it's important to really look at, if you're going to install an anchor with a hypnotherapist or on your own, make sure that it's something that you for sure is going to be there. So that's the lesson there. How about you? Do you have any experiences that you want to share?
Not in the same way as you. The two things that I'm relating to anchoring, because I haven't used them specifically, like calling them anchors and saying this is an anchor that I'm creating. But the one thing that I just know to do for myself when I need to cry in a scene or get really emotional, there's like a spot on my nose that I feel from the inside that I know. I just know how to do it, and I just make this feeling happen, and it makes a tingle happen here that will automatically make me cry. So like if I wanted to cry right now, I just think of that feeling and then my eyes will start watering and then I can start crying. You know what I mean? So it's something that like I don't know how I did it, but like I taught myself to, when I think of here and I make this feeling happen, I can bring up emotions. So it might have been that I recognized when I was crying that there was something, I could feel something there, and so I just try to recreate that. Might be how I kind of came up with it, but it is an anchor, because as soon as I think here, make that feeling on the inside happen, I can get tears to come pretty quickly and pretty easily. The other thing that is similar, but I had an acting coach, his name was Richard McKenna, and he was saying to do this like every day when you're working on scenes or whatnot. It was called sound and movement. And so you'd be like, oh, like you move your body and you make every single sound and you go through like all parts of your, register and like moving every single part of your body. And what ends up happening sometimes is that something that you do might pull up an emotion, or a sound might remind you of something. You'll get a memory. And so it's showing you, when you go through every single part of your body and your vocal range, that there are anchors kind of in there that you might not be aware of, that you get to kind of tap into and kind of move through. So it's kind of getting familiar with natural anchors that you may have that might instill a memory or a thought or an idea that could be useful for your acting work. So it wasn't specifically anchor work, but it was sense memory work, and just remembering or seeing what comes up when you move your body and use your register in a certain way.
That's really cool. I love that exploration around using your body, because it is true. We store all of our memories are stored in the subconscious, as we know, which is, our body. And so just moving around and being able to figure out, oh, that's interesting, or even with smells too, when you come across a certain smell that reminds you of a time in your life or a certain someone, that is absolutely an anchor. So we do use it as actors, with sense memory, but creating in hypnotherapy, this is a more conscious kind of approach of creating something that you want, or a feeling that you want as you're working.
Absolutely. So if we were to clear the lens here, is there anything that we want to debunk around anchoring and, what it is, what it isn't, and kind of just make things more clear? I think one thing that you did say that would be something to debunk is that all anchors, whether considered to be positive or negative, were imprinted either consciously or subconsciously for the purpose of good, for the most part. So whether it is a phobia that comes in, it is to protect you. It is there because it feels as though you are unsafe, or it's trying to save your life. And so any of these anchors, if we put them in intentionally, it's to help facilitate something in your life, for you to remember to feel happy in this moment, whatever you're kind of installing, it's all there to help you and enhance something for you. So whether it's positive or negative or perceived that way, I think it is a really good thing to remember that all of these things are there to help you and for your highest and best good. That's the intention. But sometimes as we get older or move through life, it's not working for us anymore necessarily.
Yeah, and it's no longer needed. And that's why it's so beautiful to do this kind of work. It's just to consciously say, this doesn't help my process anymore, and I'm ready to infuse my process with something else that serves. It's really exciting, and the sky's the limit. And it's almost addictive, right? It's like when, as you know, as a hypnotherapist, I don't know about you, but it's kind of like, oh, I got rid of that thing and that was easy. And I want now, like, what's next? And what do I want to install? And it's just so exciting.
Definitely, I find it very interesting. Like I installed a quick one yesterday because NLP, so the neuro linguistic programming, also uses anchoring a lot. And so how they use to kind of install anchors is like you think of a memory or a moment where you have, say we want to put like a very positive anchor. So think of something, when you achieve something amazing and how you felt, and then you think of a word that's like associated. So awesomeness. So you put like the memory of it and the feeling, what it feels like.
Yeah.
And then you think of the word. So you feeling and then awesomeness. And then, they suggested to use your ring finger and your thumb. And so you feeling that feeling, you're saying the word awesomeness, you're looking and you're seeing your finger and your thumb together and you're feeling that and you're kind of locking that in. And so that is a way that neurolinguistic programming uses anchoring. So now every time that I go like this, I'm kind of like, awesomeness. And it's kind of pulls you back into that feeling of that memory as well as that word, as well as this little sensation here, and then visually seeing my fingers touch. So very cool. I think that, people are all different types of modalities understand how powerful anchoring can be and how positive they could be for your growth as a person and an artist, or however you would like to use them.
Absolutely.
So number 1 on the call sheet. So we were thinking, and we're trying to figure out actors or anybody in the creative fields that used maybe hypnotherapy and anchors in their work. And I've definitely heard of actors doing this, but we did have a little bit of trouble finding like a specific quote or a specific video clip. But we do have one person. Let's just share my screen here. We probably all remember him from back in the day. Kevin Costner. So Kevin Costner is someone that actually used hypnotherapy on the set of Waterworld. He was getting seasick all the time. And so he flew in a hypnotherapist to help him with his seasickness. So he was going to be able to film Waterworld. So how do you think that they may have used anchors to do this? Or how do you think they use hypnotherapy to help Kevin Costner here?
So we were talking about it because I'm sure his hypnotherapist likely didn't go and tell the whole world what the process was, but we were thinking that it was likely really installing the sense and the feeling of the shoreline being connected to the shoreline as he was working on the water. So really, whenever he needed to, using all of his senses, using just anything that he can bring up about creating that stability while he was moving on the waves. And yeah, I'm sure that it also had a lot to do with the feelings of seasickness and being able to also turn down the volume on what he was experiencing and turn up a more grounded and more feelings of wellness and vitality, I believe, in general. What do you think?
I 100% believe that anything. So if there was a sway in the water on the boat, anytime that he were to feel a sway on water in the boat, he would in turn feel as though he was stable and standing on water and whatnot. And so I think that they would use any sort of like movement,
Right.
like you said, to ground him and anchor him.
Yeah.
And then also, I do think that they would probably use the shoreline just because it is also what is actually used if you do have seasickness, to look at the shoreline to see that it's still staying quite straight. And so that you don't get kind of discombobulated, because what really happens is that you lose the ground, and that's why you kind of get motion sickness. But if you kind of are able to connect with the shoreline, anytime the movement comes, you feel as though you're on flat land. I think that that's what they anchored or kind of instilled in him. So that's my thought. And I thought it was kind of cute to use Kevin Costner on Waterworld, because I'm sure there were a lot of anchors, literally, that was holding the set in place.
Literally.
Literally. So let's get rid of Kevin here. Sorry. Bye, Kevin.
Bye, Kevin.
Hopefully you have a movie soon.
Yeah.
So cutting room floor. So this could be a little bit informative of maybe what we talk about with the process today. So what I would like to maybe leave on the cutting room floor is, well, like you said, I don't have fear when I get an audition. I get oh goodness, I probably don't have enough time to get this done. Like I already know that it's going to, like, it's kind of like I roll my eyes almost, because I feel like it's going to be inconvenient. It's in some way, shape, or form. Like, oh, okay, the inconvenience starts. Like, I'm gonna A, have to memorize my lines, B, have to find something to read with me, C, have to like rearrange my schedule, D, have to like edit it and send it, and my computer sometimes doesn't work, and sometimes that becomes a problem. Like, I already just start thinking of all the different problems that are going to arise, that is not going to make it a smooth sailing process. That, and then also on top of that, with, we'll say, commercial auditions, which I get hundreds of, I also get the thought that, oh my God, I've had 500 auditions this year and I've booked one. Like, chances are I have 400 more to go before I book another one. So I already decide that I'm not booking it. So I would love to still instill that awesomeness or something every time I see this, an audition, my agent's name. It's like, it means that they're giving me good news.
Yes. Okay. So it means that they're giving you good news. And, as you're speaking about your process of, when you receive an audition and it's feeling inconvenient, and, all of the many factors that are going to come into play and how much time it's going to take, I can really sense in you the part in you that's trying to keep you protected, trying to keep you stable. And, it's important to remember that sometimes anxiety or just that general kind of overwhelming feeling is there to help you and support you, and to try and figure out the best possible way to get this done. So yeah, just want to acknowledge that it is, your subconscious is trying to help you, but it's no longer serving you anymore, because you're ready to put it on the cutting room floor. You're ready to level up.
I'm thinking that the reason why, it's trying to protect me is because of the fact that I've had so many disappointments, we'll say. Like, I literally had, since the pandemic, probably 1,000 auditions. That's
wild. That's a lot of freaking auditions.
Even if I got $1 for every audition, like, that would be pretty
right?
good.
That would be nice.
Or like, no, maybe not $1. Maybe like $25 for every audition.
$25.
$50. I mean, I do get $50 for every callback. And so I just aim to have a callback for every commercial audition. So like, at least I make some money. So I've made some money there, not going to lie, but I would like to shift my booking percentage again, now that we're so digitalized and there's more people that are being seen for each role. I would still like to become the go-to person for, I don't know, Black mom 40s.
Love that. And you absolutely can. Okay, so you want to shift your booking ratio. You want to become the go-to person. Let's go a little bit deeper. So when you are the go-to person for Black mom 30s, 20s,
They're not gonna hire me for 30s or 20s, I don't think anymore.
40s, whatever. And you're booking, and you're the go-to person. You're in that energy. You're in the flow. How is that going to feel?
It just feels free. I just want to feel free. Like it's very interesting that actually this is what I would need to anchor in.
Okay.
There is a certain knowing feeling that happens after every audition that I end up booking. I always know it. I'm always like, I wouldn't be surprised if I booked that one. You know what I mean? Like there's something that I feel and I understand and I know it's like a change in the air or the reaction of the director or something where I can feel it, hear it, and I know it. So I would like to have that feeling of knowing that I booked the part after every audition.
Ooh, I love that. So it's like something in the air. It's like a knowing sense, a feeling, a tangible feeling, whether it's the look of the director, it's a something, a je ne sais quoi that you have booked it, a knowing. And you want that with all of your auditions.
Yep.
Okay. All right. And
it's like there's no doubt whatsoever. And there's no ego. It's like truth. It's like pure knowing. It's like
so pure knowing, truth.
It's just like it is what it is. You know what I mean? As opposed to like being like it's already spiraling and thinking about all the reasons why it should not be me. It is what it is.
Yeah, and it is you. Okay.
And I find I could be wrong, but I don't have that spiraling thing that happens. Like discounting myself or looking at any error I made or think I made or I wish I did it this way. Like I don't have any self-referential like thoughts of what the experience was like and looking at all the negative things and picking it apart. I don't pick apart the auditions that I have the knowing that I am booking.
So you don't pick them apart. So it sounds to me like you're staying when you have that knowing sense, it's almost like you're staying in your body more. Well, you're an Aquarius, very and like you said, very heady. So when I was asking you how you feel in your body, you went to thoughts. So can you?
I don't know how to do that.
How I feel in my body. Do you feel okay? Well, then let's look at the opposite. So when you're nitpicking, where are you?
In my head.
You're in your head. So you're in your head, or are you looking at yourself from the outside in?
I'm kind of looking at myself in my brain. I don't know.
You're looking at yourself, yeah, your experience in your brain. Okay.
Like I'll relive it, but I'm seeing it in my brain.
Okay, so you'll relive it. You're seeing it in your brain, and are you able to remember any kind of feelings in your body while you're in your head and you're looking at yourself in your brain? Like any kind of, or is it just a dissociation?
It's just like an inner monologue that's just kind of like going through everything and just repeating it, but like a more wordy sense.
So it's in a more wordy sense. And when I asked you how you wanted to feel, one word that did come up, and it was just the one word, is free.
I always want to feel free.
Yeah, I know that we all is free. So are you able to go into a little bit more of how you want to feel, what free feels like? Maybe when you have that knowing sense?
It's very hard to describe. It's kind of it's the absence of thought, absence of no of looking at, like, it's basically exactly what you're asking me to do is the exact opposite of what is happening in that moment, if that makes sense. So I'm not thinking about me. I'm not thinking about
Mm.
you. I'm not thinking about everything else that's
Ooh.
happening. It's like it's in between all the thoughts. It's in between all it's the in between of everything. So I don't know if you know, I think it's Wayne Dyer. He has a book called Mind the Gap.
Yeah.
And in Mind the Gap, he kind of talks about, I think he makes this analogy, but he says that it's the space between the notes that makes the music. And
Mm.
so if you just had notes, it'd just be like, like, is that really music? No, it's the breath and the da, 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 and space, and you like that's what creates the music. And so the only thing I can describe it as, there's the space, which is I would consider to be freedom of everything else that is allowing for the music to be created. And
I
so
love.
me saying that I know is when I went to that place, if that makes sense. Okay,
Yeah.
so there, I've never really articulated before, but that is, I think, what's going
Ooh,
on.
that was very poetic.
I mean, I love the space between the notes creates music.
Yeah.
I think it's so powerful. I feel like that's flow. I feel like
Yes.
that is, as actors, we're always looking to be in the moment. Like, I think it's all of that. It's all the same thing. It's when you're in deep theta, I think that that's also the space that you're in. So yeah, theta, deep theta, flow. David Lynch calls that where finding the big fish or pulling the big fish, something like that, where you go deep and like the magic happens, and it's without your conscious mind having any sort of self-referential look at it.
I love that. Oh, that type of freedom. And yes, I believe that is being in a state of flow, just being completely free. So what moment are you able, if you look in your mind and you were to see this, movie of Chantele, maybe it's an old timey piece of film, and I want you to just, while we're talking, you don't even need to close your eyes. You can if you want. Just go into the specific frame, that moment where you know that you have that eye roll moment. Are you able to go in to a very specific time where you have that moment?
Sure.
Or like a recent time? And are you able to turn up the volume a little bit on those feelings of overwhelm or dread, or how am I going to get this done? Are you able to do that? Okay, good. All right. So just remember that as we're working. So that is the specific anchor moment that we're going to be working on. So yeah. Are we ready for a process?
Sure.
Okay. All right. So I think it's really important. I know that people will be following along, which is wonderful, which is exactly what we want. But please know that when we're doing hypnosis or any type of process, it is very, very powerful. And also really important to know that if you're driving, please do not be listening and participating while driving. Or operating any heavy machinery, because of the deeply relaxing nature. You need to obviously be in full control, but absolutely follow along when you are in a safe place. Be somewhere comfortable where you can just relax and enjoy the process with us. Anything you want to add?
Nope.
Okay, awesome. All right. You ready? So we're going to go in and we're going to install some positive anchors for Chantele here. But if you're listening, please you can tailor it to your own experience. So going in and really thinking about that moment that often happens, making it very real, and you can personalize the process as we're working with Chantele today. Okay. All right, so right from where you are, just go ahead and get cozy. Take some nice deep breaths. Really coming to the here and now. And feeling proud of yourself for coming here today to level up and take care of yourself in a healthy and supportive way. To better yourself and better your craft. Bless you. So anything that ever happens during session, we always use them as just cues to go even deeper into relaxation. So using your breath and just taking those nice, deep belly breaths. Really, really good. So in a moment, I'm going to count down from 10 to 1. Very slowly. And at different points, I'm going to ask you to open and close your eyes. And each time, I'd like you to send a wave of relaxation all the way through your body, from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. And with every descending number, you just relax even deeper and you let go. All right. So focusing on the number 10, go ahead and open your eyes and look at a point just above, near the ceiling, or where the ceiling meets the wall, and hold and breathe. And creating a light straining sensation in your eyes. And when you're ready, close your eyes all the way down and send a wave of relaxation all the way through your body. Good. And 9, go ahead and open your eyes, holding that gaze, keeping the chin down, hold and breathe. And when you're ready, just close your eyes down and send a wave of relaxation. Just feeling the body supported by the surface beneath you. And 8, go ahead and open your eyes. Hold and breathe. And close your eyes. Deeper relaxed. Letting go of any tension, any holding. It's safe to let go today. And 7, open your eyes. And close your eyes all the way down, deeper relaxed. Nice and easy breaths. 6, open your eyes. Really good. And close your eyes and send a wave all the way through your body, down into the center of the earth. Really good. 5, open your eyes. Close your eyes all the way down, deep, relaxed. 4, continuing to breathe and open your eyes. Hold and breathe. And close those eyes all the way down, just letting the body rest. 3, open the eyes. Close the eyes, deeper relaxed. to open your eyes. Just feeling nice and relaxed. Close those eyes all the way down, deeper relaxed. And 1, open your eyes. The eyelids are feeling heavy. Hold and breathe. And when you're ready, just close your eyes, sending a wave of relaxation all the way to the tips of your toes. And feeling your body. Noticing any areas of tension, any holding. And you can just, in your mind, just let that part know it's safe to let go. No need to hold. Just nice and easy breaths. And we're going to work today from this place of safety, this place of relaxation. And the conscious mind can take a nice little nap. And we can get right in to that safety mechanism that's been working so hard to keep you safe, to keep you protected. And we're going to level up. So in your mind's eye, floating, if you can, right into that moment that I had asked you to bring up, where you are receiving the email or the text from your agent about this audition. So really see if you can float right into this experience, feeling the sensations in your body, noting where you are. Noting how it feels. Taking note of any thoughts if you can. So if you can imagine like an old cartoon movie and you can see the thought bubbles that are popping up right in that moment when you know that you've received that message. Really, really good. And when you have that, you can go ahead and nod your head for me. Good. So in a moment, I'm going to ask you to meet that part of yourself, that part of you that is keeping you safe, so that we can have a little conversation with it and we can put it to better use now. Almost as though you are having a conversation with another individual. So 3, I'd like you to go even deeper into rest. 2, trusting what comes. And 1, go ahead and see right before you the part of you that associates auditions with feelings of inconvenience, with that sense of overwhelm, The part of you that's been working so hard to keep you safe. Really, really bringing to light all of the qualities that this part of you embodies. So just noticing if there's a posture, noting anything that comes along with this part of you. So if you'd like, in an intuitive way, go ahead and let this part know. Thank you for trying to keep me safe. Thank you for trying to protect me. But the truth is that you're hurting me. And you're hurting my opportunities. You're creating stress. There's so much that comes along with this that I no longer need. So I'd like you to go even deeper as I count down from 3 to 1. And I want you to show this part of you how you would like to go forward. So really show this part of you how you would like to feel going forward. So 3, going even deeper. 2, trusting what comes. And 1, go ahead and show this part. How you want to feel when you receive that notification. And really turn it up. Because you're the boss and you're in control. So really turn up all of these sensations of how you want to feel. That every time that you get a message from your agent or is an invitation, it's good news. And it's exciting. And from that moment, an opportunity to almost settle into that sense of freedom. That moment, that good news is actually an opportunity to jump into that special space in between. So really show this part. This is what we're doing now. We're leveling up in every single time that you get an invitation. It's good news. And it's an opportunity to go right into that knowing feeling that you got the part, that feeling sense of just, I know it. It is what it is. I know it. So in your mind's eye, I want you to create, while you're feeling all of these beautiful feelings of knowingness, this in between, I want you to partner with your subconscious mind and create a little anchor, a little symbol. And it doesn't matter what it is. Whatever comes to mind is perfect and correct. So for some people, it might be, like you said, in that NLP, putting that thumb and those 4 fingers together, creating that little OK symbol. For some people, it might be touching a necklace or a ring. For some people, it might be just remembering a specific fragrance of a loved one. It doesn't matter. All you're doing is creating a very positive association every time that you do this. Every time that you receive this good news, you also, in this kinesthetic way, so in a feeling sense, tuning into these good feelings, this invitation to jump right into that space in between that knowing feeling, and pairing it with that powerful statement, I know it. And that's exactly right. You know it. So while I'm silent, just for a few moments, I would love for you to just really go in using all of your senses and imagine showing that safety, that protector being within. This is how we're going to respond. This is how we want to feel. And this is my anchor. And just practicing that as many times as you need to. And when you're done, let me know by nodding your head. Beautiful. So from this point going forward, every time that you receive that invitation, that good news, you remember these positive feelings, this opportunity to jump right into that beautiful state of flow, where the music actually takes place. And if the mind ever tries to lead you astray or in another direction, all you gotta do is use that powerful anchor. Remember those positive feelings and move forward with this new way of supporting yourself going forward every single day from now on. You're doing so well. So taking a few deep breaths right from where you are. And really infusing this this truth into every cell in your body, into every subatomic particle of your being. This knowing you, this free you. So integrating all of the things that you've learned here today. And if you'd like, you can even take some stretches with your eyes closed, really embodying that free version of you, the one who knows. And in a moment, I'm going to bring you back. We're going to count back up, and with each and every single number, you just fortify these beliefs even more. You connect to that freedom. You connect to that flow. And you remember your anchor, and you remember just how powerful you are. So 1, moving your fingers, moving your toes. 2, deep belly breaths. 3, bringing energy right back into the body, feeling very good. Really stretching into that person that you are, that truth. 4, even deeper breaths. And 5, open your eyes. And if you need a stretch too, feels so good. Gorgeous work. Lovely.
I'm out.
Yeah. How do you feel?
What I thought was really interesting, part of my anchor ended up being the song Fame. So Fame, I want to live forever. And actually that TV show, I'm going to cry, sent me on this path, like as an artist. Like I was always taking ballet and tap when I was 4, but I may have told you this story before, but when I was about 8 years old, it was kind of the time I was in public school at that time, and kids were just starting to not want to be smart. And so I was always a very smart child. I loved playing like math games, and like I loved like having my word bank. Like I was just like I loved learning. I was always fascinated by learning. And my mom was really scared that I would lose my desire to want to be smart. And so she prayed and she prayed and she prayed and she prayed that there would be a school like Fame that I could go to that would show that I could still be smart, and it's cool to be smart, and like that, like all my potential would be realized. And I don't know how soon, but I always say it was like a week later, but like we'll say in the next little while, my grade 3 teacher, Mr. Knowles, he contacted my mom and said, "Hey, there's this performing arts school that I think that Chantele should audition for. So I'm only asking her and 2 other of her classmates that I think that would be a really good fit for this school. Do you think that she'd be interested?" And my mom was like, "Oh my gosh, my prayers have been answered. An art school for young kids." Like, so for someone my age, like Fame was a high school, this was a middle school. And so I went on a 6-week audition process. So every week for 6 weeks, I did dance and art and music, and like it was just testing every single part of, like we did mime, like we did everything. And after the 6 weeks, go back to school, and then in the summer you'd find out if you got into the school. And I did, and out of the 3 students that he had suggested, I was the only one that got into the school, and it started really fully started my path in the arts. So the fact that that song came up, it was kind of full circle moment to like opportunity and potential.
Oh, I love that. And how old were you?
8.
You were 8. Oh my goodness, what an
When I
opportunity.
auditioned, yeah, when I auditioned for the school.
So when you were in, if you don't mind sharing, when you were in your subconscious mind and you were demonstrating and you floated into that scenario of how you want to respond. And so is it tuning into that song?
No, it was just like I was just like dancing to that song and like having like so the other version of myself, like when I was seeing what shows up when I get an audition, it was kind of like a version of me doing everything, doing too much, wearing I was wearing like 15 hats, and like I was conducting, and I was like doing this and I was doing this, like I was just doing a million things, really overworked, really run down, really just like just go 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 go. And so one of the things, like the Fame song came on, and like we just dropped everything and we just started like dancing around, like Fame, I want to live forever. So it was just like free. There was a freedom in just like dancing around singing that song.
Oh,
So
I love that so much. So can you infuse at least maybe even just thinking about that song or
yeah.
playing that over the course of I know, because this is a goal that you're working on for the next 6 weeks, is to book more commercials, and that'd be a really neat experiment to kind of revisit, come back to this anchor.
I'm just gonna play it. I'm just gonna play that song and dance to it every single time I get a gosh darn audition. No matter what, just dance to the entire song. Who cares? Let's see what happens.
Yes,
like,
please.
I got 5 minutes to do that. Like,
amazing. Yes, please do. And I really look forward to hearing the results of all the bookings and all those knowings.
Yes. All right. So, we always like to close out with a little bit of magic. Do you have any cards here today as well?
I'm not going to do cards, but while you're pulling the cards, I'm just going to plug my computer in because it's a die-in. I'll be right back in a moment. Sorry.
Okay, well, cards are jumping out. Oh. So the first card that came up, which I think is exactly perfect for what we were talking about today. We were talking about anchors, and this card is an anchoring card. It's talking about planting seeds. Pentacles are about finances, money, things in the material world, schooling. And so, the Seven of Pentacles is about, look at him. He's just been digging and planting all these pentacles, waiting and hoping that they're going to flourish, that they are going to grow. But this card is also kind of to remind you that you have been planting the seeds. And if you plant any sort of seed, whether it's vegetables or flowers, you just plant them and you let them grow. You give them what they need. So if they need water, if they need sunlight, if they need some sort of fertilizer, you give these plants, these seeds, what they need, but you don't stare at it and wait for it to grow. And you don't wonder, like, is it going to grow today? Is it going to grow today? Did I plant it? Did I plant it? Is it in there? You never keep on checking up on it. You kind of trust that the seed is going to grow if you give it everything that it needs. Are you back?
Oh my goodness.
So I was just started, but I pulled 3 cards because this one jumped out. And what I was saying was that it was a really perfect card for the fact that we're talking about anchors, because this is an anchor type card. So it's the Seven of Pentacles. Pentacles are about finances, things in the material world, money potentially. And this guy is planting seeds.
Wow.
Right? He's planting these seeds of abundance, seeds of opportunity. And what I was just saying was that when you plant a seed, you don't actually keep on checking on it to see if it's growing. You give it what it needs, whether it's the nourishment, so water, fertilizer, sunlight, whatever it needs, but then you trust that it is going to grow. And so this to me is saying that we have been planting the seeds, especially today, and not to keep on checking up on it, to trust and know that you've done what you need to allow the seeds that you planted to flourish and grow. So that's basically what this card means, and that's what we talked about today.
That's
so then
wild.
This one jumped out. This is also a good card too. Well, all cards are good in their own way, but it's a positive card for this particular moment. So the Four of Wands is a card of celebration. You can see it looks like there's like a wedding going on, and there's a castle in the back, and there's a garland. It looks like kind of like an arch. And so I think that this is a celebration that we are taking the time for ourselves, for learning about these connections that we are making and reconnecting with our own self, and that this union is part of the planting of the seeds, and that it's time to celebrate. And so maybe it's saying celebrate your wins, celebrate all that you have planted up until now, regardless of what I've actually seen. The fact that I'm still being called in for commercial auditions, like, from the same people over and over and over and over and over again, means that I have been planting some good things, and to celebrate what I've accomplished up until now, instead of looking for all the negative potentially of what has been going on in my life. So I feel like this card is saying to celebrate all the seeds that we've planted up till now, and to celebrate those wins. Last card that came up, it flew out, so I felt it was important. This is from the Major Arcana. It's the Hermit. Major Arcana cards are about life's major events, major changes. It's about the journey of the ego, journey of the hero. So the Hermit, you can see the Hermit is standing on top of, you can't really tell, but he's standing on top of the mountain. So he's made the journey up the mountain, and he's at the top with the lighthouse, with a light lantern, which is kind of like he is a lighthouse. He is a beacon of knowledge. He has a beard. That means he has wisdom. He's climbed the mountain. So I feel like this is for both of us, showing that we have been climbing the mountain. And even us right here, right now, doing this series is an opportunity for us to be the hermit, to know that looking inward is an opportunity to shine our light outward to guide others along a similar path to that we are. So we've already gone up the mountain, and now we are able to share the light and the path for others to be able to continue alongward. So the hermit's also, as I mentioned, a card of internal reflection. And so it feels like because we're speaking specifically and a lot about the subconscious, I do feel like it is a reminder that our inner reflection is really positive for us to shine our light outwardly to allow us to guide others on the path.
I love it. It's so amazing how they parallel and how they are always just so perfect. And yeah, that's one thing that, I wanted to mention, or maybe put on the cutting room floor, even though we've already done that segment. But, I feel like there's so much opportunity to help one another out in this industry. Or you went back to it. And as you learn different things that support your process or support your career, it's so important to send it to somebody else who needs it and who wants that, because that's how we lift each other up, and it's just the most nurturing feeling. So I love that card, that the hermit with the lantern at the mountain. So yeah,
that's us. So do you have anything that you would like to share? I do believe that there might be one person that might be in the audience right now. If anybody watching right now has any questions, you have a couple of moments to be able to enter that in the chat box, and we can answer that right now for you. While we see if there's any questions, do you have anything that you want to share that you're working on that you might want people to tune into, tap into, follow you at?
Just come on over to intentionalactor.com. Feel free to send me any messages. If you have any questions about hypnotherapy, about performance and how it can work together, I'm always really open to just having a coffee chat. I love acting, I love hypnosis, and I love connecting with other people. So if you have any questions, there's some freebies that you can download over there as well. Just go to intentionalactor.com, and I'd love to connect with you.
Amazing. For myself right now, we just started as a program that I've been working on for a little bit. So I don't specifically have a program, but as soon as that 6 weeks, we have 5 more weeks to go, or 5.5. Once that's finished, we'll probably relaunch that in a maybe similar but different, or maybe even the same thing. So I don't have something specific that for people to tune in, but you can always find me on Instagram at Star Talent Coaching. Definitely, if you email me at Chantele at Star Talent Coaching, I am also reachable there if you have any questions. If you want to talk about really cool psychic things that have happened in the world of, hypnotherapy or acting or coincidences, I love hearing it all, and I would love to connect. So that's where you can easily find me, though, right on Instagram. That is it. Thank you for the likes. So make sure you like this video. It's really helpful for the algorithm. Definitely leave a comment. So maybe leave a takeaway that you might have taken away, something that you might have learned today that you didn't know before, what maybe came up that you would be willing to share when you went into hypnosis. So maybe leave a comment about that. Is there anything you want to know from people in the comments, Ariel?
Yeah, we always love to know what your experience was like, if anything was gleaned or any insights took you by surprise, or you have any questions at all. We are here for you, so feel free to just leave a comment below. We love connecting with you, and so thank you so much for today and going into anchors with us. It was really cool.
Thank you. Let's lock it down.
That's
the wrap. Till next week, everybody. Take care. Thank you for being here.
We'll see you next week.